Hello children, I am Shubhajit and welcome back. In this session, we are going to gather some information about the structure of the human eye, their defects and their corrections from the lesson Human Eye and Colorful World. Learning outcomes. At the end of this session, you will be able to understand about the structure of the human eye, power of accommodation, myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia. Keywords: structure of the human eye, power of accommodation, ability of an eye to adjust focal length. Defects: myopia, can see nearby objects clearly but cannot see distant objects. Hypermetropia, can see distant objects clearly but cannot see objects at near distance. Presbyopia, the ability of accommodation of the eye decreases with aging. Before starting the session, let's look at this concept map. In the previous chapter, you have studied the refraction of the light through lenses, nature, position, and relative size of images formed by lenses for various distances of objects. These ideas help us in the study of the human eye because the human eye uses light and enables us to see objects around us, and it has a lens in its structure. The human eye is one of the most valuable and sensitive sense organs. It enables us to see the wonderful world and the colors around us. The human eye is like a camera. Its lens system forms an image on a light-sensitive screen called the retina. The eyeball is approximately spherical in shape with a diameter of about 2.3 centimeters. The front portion of the eyeball is more sharply curved and it's covered by a transparent protective membrane called the cornea. Light enters the eye through a thin membrane called the cornea. Behind the cornea, there is place filled with a liquid called aqueous humor, and behind this, a crystalline lens which is responsible for the image formation. Between the aqueous humor and the lens, we have a muscular diaphragm called iris, which has a small hole in it called the pupil. Iris is the colored part that we see in an eye, and the pupil appears black. Iris helps in controlling the amount of light entering the eye through the pupil. In low light conditions, the iris makes the pupil expand so that more light is allowed to go in, and in this case of bright light condition, it makes the pupil contract and thereby preventing the excess light from going into the eye. The lens is hard in the middle and gradually becomes soft towards the outer edge. The light that enters the eye forms an image on the retina. The distance between the lens and retina is about 2.5 centimeters. That is, for any position of the object in front of the eye, image distance is fixed and about 2.5 centimeter. The lens provides the finer adjustment of the focal length required to focus objects at different distances on the retina. The eye lens is fixed between the ciliary muscles. It helps to change the focal length of the eye lens according to the position of the object. The eye lens forms an inverted real image of the object on the retina. The retina is a delicate membrane that has an enormous number of light-sensitive cells. The light-sensitive cells get activated upon illumination and generate electrical signals. These signals are sent to the brain via the optic nerves. The brain interprets these signals and finally processes the information so that we see the objects as they are. The eye lens is made of a fibrous, jelly-like material. Its curvature can be modified to some extent by the ciliary muscles. The change in the curvature of the eye lens can thus change its focal length. When we are looking at distant objects, the ciliary muscles relaxes and makes the eye lens thinner. This increases the focal length of the eye lens and enables us to see distant objects clearly. On the other hand, when we are looking at the objects closer to the eye, the ciliary muscles contract and makes the eye lens thicker. This decreases the focal length of the eye lens and enables us to see nearby objects clearly. The ability of the eye lens to adjust its focal length is called accommodation. However, the focal length of the eye lens cannot be decreased below a certain minimum limit. If we try to read a printed page by holding it very close to our eyes, you may see the image being blurred or feel strain in the eye. To see an object comfortably, you must hold it at about 25 cm from the eyes. The minimum distance at which objects can be seen most distinctly without strain is called the least distance of distinct vision. It is also called the near point of the eye. For a young adult with normal vision, the nearest point is about 25 cm. The farthest point is up to which the eye can see objects clearly is called the far point of the eye. It is infinite for a normal eye. Sometimes the eye may gradually lose its ability for accommodation. In such conditions, the person cannot see an object clearly and comfortably. The vision becomes blurred due to accommodation defects of the lens. There are mainly three common defects of vision: myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia. Myopia is also known as nearsightedness. A person with myopia can see nearby objects clearly but cannot see distant objects. A person with the defect has the far point nearer than infinity. Such a person may see clearly up to a distance of a few meters. In a myopic eye, the image of a distant object is formed in front of the retina and not at the retina itself. This defect may arise due to excessive curvature of the eye lens or elongation of the eyeball. This defect can be corrected by using a concave lens of suitable power. A concave lens of suitable power will bring the image back on to the retina and thus the defect is corrected. Let a person with myopia eye can see up to a distance x. Suppose that he wants to see all the objects farther than this distance, that is up to infinity. Using lens formula, the focal length of the required concave lens is f is equals to minus x. Hypermetropia is also known as farsightedness. A person with hypermetropia can see distant objects clearly but cannot see nearby objects. The near point for the person is farther away from the normal near point, that is 25 centimeter. Such a person has to keep a reading material much beyond 25 centimeter from the eye for comfortable reading. This is because the light rays from a close by object are focused at a point behind the retina. This defect arises either because the focal length of the eye lens is too long or the eyeball has become too small. This defect can be corrected by using a convex lens of appropriate power. Eyeglasses with converging lenses provide the additional focusing power required for forming the image on the retina. Let a person with hypermetropia eye can see objects beyond a distance d. Suppose that he wants to see all objects closer than this distance up to a distance d. Using lens formula, the focal length of the required convex lens is f equals to small d into capital D divided by small d minus capital D. Presbyopia is vision defect when the ability of accommodation of the eye usually decreases with aging. For most people, the near point gradually recedes away. They find it difficult to see nearby objects comfortably without corrective eyeglasses. It arises due to the gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles and diminishing flexibility of the eye lens. Sometimes a person may suffer from both myopia and hypermetropia. Such people often require bifocal lenses. A common type of bifocal lenses consists of both concave and convex lenses. The upper part consists of concave lens. To correct myopia, used for distant vision, and the lower part consists of convex lens to correct hypermetropia. Used for reading purposes. These days, it is possible to correct the refractive defects with contact lenses or through surgical interventions.